Alright, so check it out. This is the 2001 Nighthawk 750. Super cool bike. A little bit of the history is you can see, like I said, it's a 2001. You can see there's a little sticker in there. Kind of tells you that, and there's some other information in there. It tells you that the model number is a CB750 and blah 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 blah. But I bought this bike. So in 2001, they sold this bike at the dealership for $5,799. So $5,800, brand new from the dealership. I bought this bike in 2002 with 2,400 miles, and it had this dent in it right there. Bam. So the previous owner, let's just say they weren't a experienced rider, and it fell over on them once, and let's just say they, I don't know, never really covered from that and wasn't really excited about motorcycling anymore. So rather than the bike sitting, the owner decided to sell it. So took it back to the dealership, and I happened to come into the picture at that point in time. So was really looking for a brand new one when I went to buy it, but they had this one used. Here's another little dent. This one is from me. I'll get into that story later. But so I bought it in 2002, 2,400 miles, and rode this thing, for years and years. And I mean, I still have it. So I've had it for 19 years, I guess now, almost 20 years. It's super cool bike. And the funny thing about this bike is, it's really not worth anything. I mean, it's only worth like, I don't know, maybe $2,000, if that, if I was lucky. That's only because I've taken such good care of it. The person that was going to buy it would be like, oh yeah, this thing has definitely been taken care of. I'll give you that money. But most people wouldn't want to give you anything like that for this bike. But for people that don't know the history of the CB750, super cool thing about it is right there, those 4 exhaust pipes coming out, which kind of tell you that it's an inline 4-cylinder. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's cylinders right across. So it's an inline 4-cylinder bike. This bike's a dual overhead cam. It's a 16 valve engine, and it's got hydraulic valves. And hydraulic valves are self-adjusting. So I've never had to adjust the valves on this motorcycle because it's got hydraulic valves that are self-adjusting. So that's a beautiful thing about this bike. Really super low maintenance. Basically adjust the chain, change the oil, and you're good to go. I've heard stories about these motorcycles actually running completely out of oil, and still getting someone like 30 miles back to their house out of oil, and they were able to fix it, put oil back in it, and it ran fine. So these bikes are just tanks. They're just war horses, and it's a testament to the fact that I'm still riding this thing as long as I've been, because I do not take it easy on this thing. I run it hard. I speed shift from first to second all the time on this bike. And what I mean by speed shift is I just lay down the throttle. I just hammer down the throttle, and then when I don't let off on the throttle at all, and I come over here and I just grab the clutch and squeeze it, wham, and I shift with my foot at the same time, And when I let the clutch out, because I do it real quick, when I let the clutch out, this bike just shoots off, and it's like almost all you can do to hold on to it. And and a lot of guys will probably laugh about this because it's only a CB750. This is only like 67 horsepower or something like that. So a lot of guys will laugh about that, but they'll also understand that this thing does have a little bit of snot to it as well. So it runs pretty hard, and I've always been happy with it and never really felt like I needed to upgrade its performance. I mean, it is what it is. If I wanted something to go really fast on, I'd get a whole different motorcycle. You know what I mean? And I'm sure everyone would agree with that. That would be the route to go rather than trying to soup this up. Just get something different. But I've always been super happy with it. It's treated me really, really good. It's been a great bike. I've actually, and this is a fact, I've actually paid more for insurance for the 20 years that I've had this motorcycle. Think about it. Even if you're only paying $200 a year times 20, that's $4,000 right there. So I've definitely paid a little bit more than $200 a year for insurance. So I've literally paid more for insurance over the years that I've owned this motorcycle than the purchase price of the motorcycle, all the maintenance, all the other parts that I've had to pay for it, whether it be tires, whatever, and that's where you're at. That's incredible to say something like that you've paid more for insurance than the vehicle itself and all the maintenance and repairs over a 20-year period of time. That's insane. So some things I've done to it over the last couple years to really keep it up nice is I replaced the fork seals right here. So they get cracked around these seals here, and water seeps down in there and then sinks down into the bottom of the fork here, and then sits there and then starts to rust and rot out down there, and then eventually they're no good. So you always want to keep those fork seals replaced, which I have, and you can tell it's really nice and shiny there, that shock. So I always keep that really nice so those seals stay as good as they can for as long as they can. I put, it's kind of lame, I didn't put anything cool on there, skulls or something cool, but I just put a stock set of turn signals because these rubber boots here got all rubber flaked up, and so I just put a stock set on there, and so I've replaced those. Down here, I put a new chain and sprocket there. I put a new sprocket up in the front. So that's all changed out. I do need to adjust the chain. I was riding it the other day and it felt a little sloppy. So I need to adjust the chain again, but that's no problem. I mean everyone knows how easy these bikes are right there. So you can see how that works right there. There's a little gauge right there that tells you, that little pointer tells you, so you just undo one of these nuts and the back nut, tighten down the other one on either side, make sure that the gauges are the same on either side. Of course you got to loosen up that bigger bolt first, but it's really easy. So I've got to adjust the chain, but other than that, this thing is running good. I got the all the carburetors, which are here. There's actually 4 of them, 1 for each cylinder, 4 single barrel carburetors. Got those all cleaned out. A guy took those all apart and put all new O-rings and cleaned those out. And so this bike is really in really good shape. The only thing I've never really touched on this bike is the brakes. So I've never really done anything to mess with the brakes, and it's as old as it is. But I don't really use the brakes much. I just use the gears to kind of slow me down. So I've kept it up. I've kept it polished. shiny up. It's got its marks, it's got its dings, but it's a beaut. I mean, custom Corbin seat. I mean, look at the angle right here. I mean, look at the curves and stuff from that angle. You know, the tank, the way the lines come in, stuff like that. So, cool bike. I've liked this one. So cool, we can go on to the Mustang for a second. So 96 Mustang GT convertible. I got this car years ago, and it was in rough shape. Basically on its last legs. Was ready to be finished. Had a lot of issues. It was overheating. Cooling system was no good. The transmission was shot, so I had to get the transmission rebuilt. I had to get the whole cooling system and serpentine belt system. It was just wore out and neglected, so I just brought it in and gave it a lot of love. And you can see the paint's not perfect on this, but it's definitely like really pretty nice though too. I think Joe's maybe seen this car before, and I remember him rubbing his hand down the side and was like, whoa man, you really did polish that up. But it's pretty dirty right now. Actually, I need to kind of give it another coat. But pretty cool car. I mean, over the years I've really tweaked it to kind of make it really nice. It originally had black leather seats, and I changed them out. This is like a suede material here instead of it being leather, because when I first got it, I parked it outside, you know, with the top down, and those black leather seats, when they get the sun hitting them, I mean, my legs got burnt really bad sitting down on those seats. So I met a guy once that had a 2003 Mustang Cobra, and I went for a ride with him. And this was the one. This is the Mustang that had a factory supercharger, the Cobra, and he put like a bigger supercharger in it. And this car was crazy. It had like 600 plus horsepower, and he goosed it around a corner, and that car just spun around like it was nothing. And I just thought, oh man, I don't think I'd ever want a car that had that much. That's just ridiculous, that much horsepower. But I love the seats in this car, and that's what these are actually kind of supposed to be. So when I went to look for a seat kit to have this stuff redone, they sold an 03 Cobra kit for this car, and I was so excited. And of course I got the all black ones, and they look so nice and they feel so comfortable in this car. I got new seat foam and new seat covers, and this car feels so nice to ride around in. But by far is my pride and joy about it is the stereo system. You know, I spent so much time getting this thing together, and you can see it's got an Alpine head unit. It's got a audio control equalizer below it, which is really cool. Real simple equalizer, allows you to tweak stuff on the fly real quick and easy. This car here has got speakers down there, and then tweeters up in the door. So it's got those two speakers for the passenger. It's got the same thing for the drivers, and then the passenger actually has the same thing. It's got a speaker lower there and a speaker up there. So for the driver and passenger, I put an amplifier underneath the passenger seat. I don't know if you can. No, you probably can't see that. I hit it that good. But there's an amplifier underneath the passenger seat for those 4 speakers, and then in the back of the car here, I put another amplifier. Let's see here. Get the trunk open here. So I put an amplifier in the back here. Get a little flashlight action here. So put an amplifier back here, you know, wired up a power distribution block, and you know, did all this stuff myself. It was a lot of fun. And you know, being that this is a convertible and there's like really hardly any trunk to speak of, even though I put this system together, it had no bass at all, so I needed something to give me a little bit of bass. So I installed this. This is really cool. It's called a JBL makes this. It's called a Bass Pro hub, and it's an 11-inch round subwoofer that is supposed to mount to your Space Saver tire, because that's what this car has, is a Space Saver tire. However, this thing wasn't really designed for this old of a car. I don't think. Most modern cars have a little bit more space than this. So anyhow, I installed this subwoofer back there, and it's not like banging, you know. I mean, it's not like, you know, you're gonna hear it from blocks away banging and stuff, but it just fills in the bass frequencies on all the songs that I'm listening to. So it really helped out with the overall system, and it worked out perfectly. So I was really happy with that addition of that subwoofer. It's got this little remote control kind of thing that I put here in the center console, which was pretty cool. I had to run a wire and from the trunk, but here it is here. This little JBL, so you can see the gain, you know, bass boost, low pass function, and then it's got a phase, so I can actually turn it down a little bit if I want, but you know, I don't ever do that. I just crank it up. So it sounds pretty cool. So the system, you know, I mean, this is a convertible, so when you're driving down the road at 70, it's hard to hear the music, you know, over all the wind noise. So I designed this thing to crank out to every bit of 100 to 105 decibels without really pushing the system too much. Well, 105, you're probably pushing it a little bit, but it'll do 100 decibels pretty easily, you know, just like without even breathing. So it's a pretty cool sound system, and I'm super proud of it. So this has been a pretty cool car, but we'll see what happens now that I got the 68. You know, I don't want this thing just sitting around, so we'll see what happens. But I've really loved the death out of this car. I've never had a convertible before. I've never had a car that had a V8 motor before. I never had a car with an Alpine stereo system. You know, Scott Vadunas will tell you, Strawberry was a friend of mine until I caught him in my car trying to steal my Alpine. He'll tell you that line. Hats off to you, Scott. I wish the best for you and your family. There you go, Alpine, man. Strawberry ain't got to this one yet. So Yeah, rock on, everybody. So this is about as long as I want to take for everybody with these videos. But while the 68's out getting the power steering system all taken care of, I thought I'd make a quick video about my really awesome motorcycle that I've had for 19 years now, I guess. '02, yep, 2000, yep. So 19 years I've had this bike. Um, you know, it's been a good one, and I'm gonna ride it this year like nobody's business. And also my 96 Mustang GT convertible that originally, you know, it was my it's from the family, you know. I mean, so I got this from my dad. It was like my brother Alex's car, and it was in that, you know, my dad and my brother kind of had it and stuff like that. And like I said, when I got it, it was kind of shot, so I really kind of went through it. I mean, you can see some of the shine in that paint. So I spent a lot of time clay barring it and waxing it and polishing it. Which, who knows, maybe later on I might make some videos of that kind of stuff with that 68, exactly how I clay barred it and waxed it. So now that you're looking at this, who knows, maybe I'll get the 68 to look exactly the same. You know, I mean, look, you can see the motorcycle in the paint job of that car. So pretty cool. So all right, everyone, I hope everyone has some fun watching these videos, and I hope they're not too boring, but they're fun for me, and showing you guys what I'm kind of getting into. And I love getting out in my garage and spending some time working on my tools and stuff like that, and getting everything organized, and playing around with these types of projects. So if it interests you, then cool. If it bores you, then I apologize in advance. But actually I don't, because I don't really care. I'm not really making these videos for anyone in particular other than my buddies that are curious about this stuff. So but I hope everyone's staying safe out there and doing well, and you know, be good to everyone and enjoy what you got, because I certainly do. I'm the luckiest person in the world to have all this kind of stuff to play with and keep my mind occupied. All right, everybody. Peace. We'll talk soon. I'll make another video soon. Hopefully the 68 will be coming back next weekend. I'm hoping that's the case. If not, it might be 2 weeks for the 68 to come back, and we'll get back on track with that. But maybe I'll make a video of me taking this out for a little blast. We can get a little, you know, 0 to 60, or maybe a 0 to 100, or at least a good speed shift video. That would be pretty cool. It'd be fun to watch that video, that motorcycle shoot out from underneath me. That'd be a cool video. I'd like stand still and the video motorcycle just shoot out at like 60 miles per hour or something. But she's a runner, man. Good old, like I said, I always thought that it's a nice looking motorcycle with the curves. But she's kept up good. All original. Never painted it. Nothing. It's actually still got the original grips on it. Original foot pegs. Everything original. Except for, like I said, I changed the turn signals out because those rubbers got kind of rotted. But it doesn't matter. The bike's still not really worth anything. But I like it. It's a sweet bike. A guy gave me a fairing over here to put on it. Let's see. Can't really see that too well. It's upside down, but that's like a showy. So it's kind of funky looking when you put it on there, but and then you can tell, like right here, there's supposed to be a windshield piece that goes in there. So that's not there. But I put it up on the motorcycle once and I thought, I don't really like how this looks, but I could see how it would keep the wind off of me in the wintertime, and I could probably ride this motorcycle in the wintertime because down here in North Carolina it doesn't really get that cold most of the time. But as I'm getting a little bit older, I realize I just don't care about riding the motorcycle in the cold at all. If it's cold, I don't want to ride in it. I want to have fun and enjoy it, and I want it to be nice. I don't want it to be painful, so I just don't ride a whole lot when it's cold anymore. That's just not my thing. But yeah, here's the bike. Right there. Nighthawk 750. CB 750. All original stuff. So simple. Like I said, it's so cool that it has like these little things here where it tells you when your chain is basically wore out and you need to replace it. Alright, I'm out. Later, everybody.